Hello everyone, Talhoffer here, and welcome back to another episode from Talhoffer Labs. Today we're going to be doing a little bit different than what we normally do, which is instead of talking about a technique, I want to kind of get into the head of the man who is writing this document here. To aid me with that, I have my copy of The Flowers of Battle, Volume 1, that was translated and written by Tom Leone and Greg Melee. It's this main source that I really look at right now, and aside from using Wichtenauer to help glean some understanding here when it comes down to this manuscript. But for today, I'm going to talk a little bit right here, and it maybe sound like a controversial topic, but it really boils down to what does it take to be a maestro, and what are some things that we may be missing in the modern era that we're just going past because we want to be good sword fighters. So with that being the case here, I'm going to jump right into it. And the thing that I'm looking at right here is that essentially it's Fiore's preamble to the Getty. And out of all of this right here, there's one paragraph that I want to read real fast here, and I'm going to digest this a little bit further, so we can kind of have some other considerations that may be coming out of this. And it goes as such: I, Fiore, know how to read, write, and draw, and have books on our subject, a subject that I have studied for at least 40 years. And this subject is the art of arms. Yet I do not consider myself to be a perfect master of this art, although some of the great lords who have been my students do hold me in such regard. Let me just say that I have spent the same 40 years studying, if I had spent the same 40 years studying jurisprudence, canon law, or medicine, with the same assiduity that I had dedicated to the art of arms, I would have been a doctor in each of these disciplines. And I have undergone great effort, labor, and expense in being a good student. But enough of this. So the reason why I think this is a very important thing for us to look at is that it really boils down to the question of, is this manuscript even something that was ever intended for us? I don't believe it was. And I believe that this book here is only but one thing that maybe parts of what he is trying to convey to everybody else. Now, a few of the things we have to look at right here within this line that I think are very important one is the very last one, where he talks about using large amounts of expenses to be able to be a good student of this art. We have no idea where this goes at with this. And one of the things that we consider is that when we look at the concept of spending money, this could be for travel, this could be for training, this could be for maybe you're bringing people in, so you're spending money here to be able to showcase what you can do, to do all these other things out there. We have no idea where this money goes towards. It could be just writing the book. But regardless of it, again, he says that he uses this to be a good student. So I don't believe it has anything to do with the manuscript, but really his past things that he's gone forward with this. I open with that, which is one of the last lines in here, to give validation to the comment I'm going to make next here, which is where he talks about jurisprudence, canon law, and medicine. So he would have been, he says, a doctor in each of these if he had spent the same amount of time in those as he had as the art of arms. Personally, I'm starting to wonder if this is not him saying that I did do these things here. However, my focus is the art of arms. So his focus has always been this way. Now, before we go into the area of like, well, he's not a doctor in these things right here, so that's that. To be an effective maestro, you have to be informed in those areas there. You have to understand canon law, you have to understand jurisprudence, and you have to understand medicine. Each of these are the things right there that are going to be your tools as you craft what's going to be good for the person that's there, not what you want to show them. The analog I'm using here is kind of what I utilize as a life coach. The methodology of being a life coach is that you're not teaching anybody anything. You are simply holding space for them, asking the right questions for them, and then that help them be able to go forward with it all. And then from there, sending them on their way as they go through and they achieve their goals for themselves, and not the ones that you want. At least that's what I was taught essentially as a life coach. It's down dirt easy. By understanding canon law, by understanding jurisprudence and medicine, a Maestro of Arms can make sure that they are able to tailor their art, the art necessary for the client. In this case, for the Getty, it's Niccolo d'Este, the needs of him and not what I say he should be doing. I'm not the one who's going to be fighting this. He is. I'm not the one that may be under threat in a certain situation. Niccolo is. And because of those things right there, I have to be in the mindset to be able to help him and not myself. Not to mention also, this manuscript is towards the end of his life, presumably. So he's not going to be as a 60-year-old man fighting out there for a younger person doing these types of things. That's another thing that kind of comes into mind. So how is medicine a big piece about this? So the canon and jurisprudence makes sense because you have to know maybe what carry laws are, what type of tournament things are out there, and what are some of the chivalric concepts that you have that a lord like Niccolo d'Este is going to have to face. But medicine. To help understand this right here, I'm going to be going into Hans Talhoffer's, what he says in one of his manuscripts, but I'm also going to be talking about what he talks about in his manuscript as well. To understand medicine, and to understand good counter medicine, which is just the practice of war and arms, you have to understand medicine. This means that essentially Fiore understands how breaks and everything go, where to strike with swords that put people down, and that this is not a thing right here that is, haha, I've got you here, I've got a point. This is something here that is specifically designed to put down assailants that are coming at his client. So he understands the anatomy of things. In order to do this, then you understand some form of medicine. And as he said, he's no master in it, he's no doctor, but he probably has some understanding of that right there. The other medicine we have to talk about, and this is where Hans Talhoffer comes in, is he has to understand his client. Does his client have a bum knee? Is he short of wind? Is he have problems with his body? Is he weak? Is he strong? Is he large? Is he skinny? What are all these things right here? And what are the things that these here cater to that person's design in being able to perform the art? So essentially, when we talk about this, right, because Hans Talhoffer makes the message about to be a good Fechtmeister, the first thing you must do is observe these things. And mind you, it's not in front of me, so I'm paraphrasing here. But he specifically says, I have to see what this person's good at, and then from there you're able to tailor their craft and what you can teach them. I think Fiore's the same way. I think what he's noting right here is that I'm not going to you to say, yes, come here and listen to everything I'm saying. He's being a coach, but not the coach like, go do this, but being the coach of like, I see what you're doing here. Let me work with your body here. How is this working? You can't do this? Well, this is what I would do instead. Which actually means that this book is only a portion of what the man could produce, and not the full mind. Especially like he says when he takes books and not just a book. So to understand all these things, and even that the best minds could only comprehend maybe or could maybe withhold 25% of this. This is why it's necessary to have these things. So what does this mean for us in the modern day? Personally, what I think this comes down to is we have to understand that this was not written for us, and this was written for a person in a very specific point in time. I also believe it's the same thing for other manuscripts that are out there, but because my focus is on Fiore right now, that's what I'm going for. The two maesters that point to this are both Fiore himself and Hans Talhoffer, where it's talking about you having an engagement with the client to build out what their needs are, and then giving them the skills as you train with them that are going to help them accommodate what they need. So for us in the modern era, when we say things like, oh, certain techniques just don't work, well, this right here, I don't know what Fiore's talking about. It wasn't written for you. It wasn't written for me. It was written for a man that's going to have to use this that we don't know his body type. And that's what Fiore understands. So because of those factors together there, we have to respect that the maestro understood that being a professional in this does not mean I'm going in there telling a lord what I'm going to think, but to give him what he needs so that he can take action upon that. So that's going to conclude this video right here. And like I said, I'm very curious to see what people have to say about this video. So please leave a comment below. This is something I don't hear a lot of people talking about. I have had great conversations with people, but this is not something that's quite prevalent out there. So leave a comment below and let me know what you're thinking about that. And as always, everybody, please stay safe out there, train well, and fight on. I'll see you all in the next video.